Oh Lord, it feels good to be here with you, Mr. O'Brien, especially on such a beautiful spring day in New York. Oh dear Faith, it really is a great day. The flowers are blooming, and the weather's warm enough that people are out wearing tank tops. Robin Williams made the world laugh for more than 40 years, but behind all the jokes was a man who was truly struggling. At night, he would lock himself in rooms so he wouldn't hurt his wife during violent episodes in his sleep. While filming, he sometimes forgot lines he had known for decades. He even hid his watches inside socks and left them at friends' houses because he believed someone was trying to steal from him. After filming scenes, he would break down in tears, and his makeup artist often had to hold him while he cried. People saw the symptoms of something wrong, but no one realized what was really happening. What doctors later found in his brain changed everything we thought we knew. Robin Williams was born on July 21, 1951, at St. Luke's Hospital in Chicago. From the outside, his life looked perfect. His father, Robert Williams, was a high-ranking executive at Ford, and his mother, Lori, had once been a fashion model. They had a big house, plenty of money, and all the luxuries a child could want. But inside that home, things felt cold. His father was always away traveling for work. His mother, while charming and well-spoken, kept her distance. She wasn't very affectionate, and hugs were rare. Robin quickly learned that if he wanted love or attention, he had to earn it, by being funny or impressive. Just being himself didn't seem to be enough. That belief stayed with him for the rest of his life. When Robin was 12, his family moved into a huge 40-room mansion in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. The house was beautiful but incredibly lonely. With his parents always busy or gone, Robin was left alone most of the time. The only people around were the house staff. But instead of becoming bitter, he used that quiet time creatively. He began talking in funny voices, creating imaginary friends, and inventing characters. He'd stand in front of mirrors and act out entire scenes. The whole house became like a theater, and every room was his stage. While other kids played outside, Robin was inside, performing for the empty halls. This is where his comedy truly began, alone in a house full of silence, learning what was funny without anyone telling him. School wasn't much better. Robin was short, wore glasses, and was a bit chubby. He didn't fit in, and bullies picked on him all the time. They teased him, stole from him, and sometimes even beat him up. He'd come home with torn clothes and bruises. Then he noticed something. When he made the bullies laugh, they stopped bothering him. So he leaned into it. He started using jokes and impressions to win people over. Making people laugh gave him power. It became his armor. The more he was praised for being funny, the more he depended on it. Eventually, being funny became the only way he knew how to interact with the world. His humor wasn't just from trauma though, it also came from his mother. Lori had sharp wit and amazing timing. She could silence a room with just one sarcastic comment. Robin watched her closely and picked up on her rhythm, her delivery, and her quiet command of humor. But he also noticed something sad. His mother only seemed truly happy when he was making her laugh. So he kept performing to keep her smiling. He learned how to read people and give them exactly the version of himself they wanted. That skill helped make him a star, but it also made him afraid of ever showing his true, quiet self. At 16, everything changed. The family moved to Tiburon, California, and Robin transferred to Redwood High School. There he met a drama teacher named James Dunn, who saw something in him that others hadn't. Dunn saw real talent, raw but powerful. Robin joined the drama club and felt like he finally belonged. In that space, his voices and characters weren't weird, they were celebrated. He could pour all his energy and chaos into acting. His classmates were amazed by his range. One moment he'd be playing a shy British butler, and the next, a loud and rude New Yorker. Every acting prompt turned into a one-man show. For the first time, Robin didn't feel alone. He felt understood. By his senior year, he had become the heart of the drama club and was ready for something bigger. In 1973, he made a bold move and got accepted into Juilliard, one of the most famous performing arts schools in the world. That year, only 2 students were accepted into their advanced acting program, Robin Williams and Christopher Reeve. But Juilliard was strict. They focused on classical acting, Shakespeare, posture, breathing, and discipline. Robin was full of energy and ideas, and he didn't like being told to hold back. While other students followed the rules, Robin broke them. He wasn't interested in reciting monologues. He wanted to improvise and surprise people. The school respected his talent, but didn't know how to handle it. After 3 years, Robin dropped out in 1976. Everyone was shocked. Quitting Juilliard was like walking away from the Olympics. But Robin said staying would have crushed his spirit. He didn't want tradition, he wanted freedom. Back in California, he jumped into the world of stand-up comedy. He started performing at the Holy City Zoo in San Francisco and later at the Comedy Store in Los Angeles. His style was like nothing anyone had seen. He didn't just tell jokes, he became the characters in them. One minute he'd be a confused Russian cab driver, and the next, a dancing alien. He switched voices so fast it felt like 10 different people were speaking through him. Audiences were amazed. People leaned in, completely captivated. Other comedians like George Carlin and Richard Pryor took notice. Pryor even became his mentor. Robin wasn't just another funny guy. He was a force of nature. His shows left people laughing so hard their faces hurt. He could do more in 10 minutes than others did in an hour. By 1977, he moved to Los Angeles and started performing regularly at the Comedy Store on Sunset Strip. That club was known for discovering new TV stars. One night, TV producer Gary Marshall saw Robin perform. Marshall had already made hits like Happy Days. After watching Robin, he immediately knew he had something special. That moment was the start of Robin Williams' rise to fame. And it all began with a strange idea from Gary Marshall's 8-year-old son, who wanted to see a spaceman on Happy Days after watching Star Wars. The writers hated the idea, but fate had something else planned, and Robin would soon turn that silly alien into a TV icon. From his childhood of lonely rooms and conditional affection, to his rise as a comedy juggernaut who had to perform to be seen, Robin's life was shaped by a need to create and connect, even if it meant hiding his own pain. The brilliance he displayed on stage and screen came from a lifetime of learning how to read a room, win it over, and hold it with everything he had. But underneath all the characters and voices, there was a man trying desperately to stay afloat. What's so striking is how his need to entertain wasn't just a career move, it was a survival instinct. Comedy became a kind of armor, a performance that kept people close without letting them too far in. His battles with addiction, the impact of Belushi's death, and the clarity that came with fatherhood all speak to someone who knew he was on a knife's edge and fought hard to stay upright. And he did, sober for 20 years, building a filmography that touched generations. Not just because it was funny, but because it was honest. His characters weren't afraid to cry, to rage, to inspire. Films like Dead Poets Society and Good Will Hunting didn't just entertain, they healed people. Because audiences sensed what critics and studios didn't always get. Robin wasn't acting as someone in pain. He was someone in pain. Even his work on Aladdin, which changed animated film forever, came with betrayal. Disney's merchandising overstep wasn't just a business misstep. It was a broken promise, and for someone who'd learned not to trust easily, it cut deep. Robin Williams starred in the second biggest movie of the year, Mrs. Doubtfire. To play Euphigenia Doubtfire, he had to sit in the makeup chair for 4.5 hours every day. But he didn't just wear a costume, he fully became the character. He spent time watching older women in shopping malls to copy how they moved and spoke. He also took voice lessons to sound like an older woman. Robin improvised many of his lines, coming up with new jokes during each take. One dinner scene had to be filmed 15 times because he kept adding fresh lines. Mrs. Doubtfire wasn't just a comedy, it was about love, loss, parenting and pain, all hidden behind makeup and laughter. But his most powerful role came in Good Will Hunting in 1997. He played a quiet, grieving therapist named Sean Maguire. Unlike his usual roles, there were no funny voices or over-the-top moments. Instead, He was calm, still, and deeply emotional. In one famous scene, where he tells Will, "It's not your fault," Robin improvised those lines. The moment made audiences cry, and made Matt Damon cry on set, too. This time, Robin didn't just get nominated for an Oscar. He won. On March 23, 1998, when he stepped on stage to accept the award, he joked, "Thank you, Ben and Matt, I still want to see some ID," then walked off. He was at the peak of his career. But behind his success, Robin was struggling. In 2003, while filming in a remote part of Alaska, he started to break down. He felt lonely, cold, and scared. He said it wasn't the edge of the world, but you could see it from there. One day he walked into a store, saw a bottle of Jack Daniels, and heard a voice in his head say, "Just a taste." That one sip ended 20 years of sobriety. He had stayed clean since 1982, but now it was gone. For the next 3 years, Robin drank in secret. He kept working and performing, but inside, he was falling apart. He later said he realized how bad it was after just 1 week. "I was buying so many bottles I sounded like a wind chime walking down the street," he joked. But it wasn't funny. Not really. He admitted that those 3 years were miserable, and he couldn't stop drinking. In 2006, his family stepped in. His son, Zach, said it wasn't a gentle conversation, it was a clear warning. "If he kept drinking, I don't think he'd be alive today," Zach said. Robin checked into Hazelden, a well-known rehab center in Oregon. He stayed there for 2 months, worked through his issues, and promised to attend AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, meetings regularly. He also admitted that during his first recovery in the 1980s, he hadn't been fully honest with himself. "The real question is, how honest do you want to live?" he said. Even as he worked to stay sober, money problems began to take a toll. 2 divorces had cost him a fortune. Reports said he lost between $20 and $30 million. His first wife, Valerie Velarde, received $50,000 a month for life. In 1989 alone, she was paid over $500,000. His second wife, Marcia Garces, divorced him in 2008, just 2 years after his rehab stay. She said his addiction had become too much to handle. Robin used humor to mask the pain. He once joked that the word alimony comes from a Latin phrase meaning to rip a man's genitals out through his wallet. But the financial strain was real. In 2012, he put his beautiful 653-acre estate in Napa Valley, called Villa Sorriso, up for sale for $35 million. It had everything: a library, a theater, an art gallery, and even a wine cellar. Still, he had to sell it. "I just can't afford it anymore," he told Parade magazine. He had earned over $130 million during his career, yet now he was downsizing to survive. Robin kept working. In 2009, during his Weapons of Self-Destruction comedy tour, he suddenly felt short of breath. It turned out to be more than exhaustion. Doctors discovered his heart was failing. He had to undergo open heart surgery to replace a damaged aortic valve. The surgery was serious. They had to stop his heart, cool down his body, and use anesthesia. His brother had died 2 years earlier after a similar surgery, and that fear stayed with him. Though the operation saved his life, it left emotional and physical scars. Some people who have major heart surgery go through depression, memory problems, or PTSD afterward. Robin survived, but those changes began to show. In 2013, he tried to make a comeback on TV with a show called The Crazy Ones, co-starring Sarah Michelle Gellar. It started strong, but by May 2014, the show was cancelled after just 1 season. Robin was crushed. "My face is all over town on billboards, and it's all on my back," he told a friend. Behind the scenes, he was falling apart again. After 2 divorces, the cancelled show, and ongoing financial stress, he had to sell another home. This time his $29.9 million Napa ranch. He felt heartbroken, embarrassed, and unsure about his future. During the filming of Night at the Museum, Secret of the Tomb, things got worse. Robin began forgetting his lines, something that had never happened before. He used to create entire scenes on the spot, but now he struggled. He called the director at night, asking, "Do I suck? What's going on?" His makeup artist said he ended most days crying in her arms. He didn't know what was wrong, and neither did anyone else. At home, things were even more terrifying. Robin couldn't sleep. He had violent nightmares that caused him to scream or thrash around in bed. To protect his wife, he started sleeping in a different room, or even locked himself in his stepson's room. This wasn't normal insomnia. It was a condition called REM sleep behavior disorder, and it was one of the first signs of something much worse, Lewy body dementia.